Hello, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, the interwebs. Cuffy Proctor here. I am blown away by how uneventful the fucking debates were. I watched them while stringing a guitar, and I just can't fucking believe how disconnected and out of touch the Democratic Party is, and how much this is just an ideal scenario, actually, for Andrew Yang. I couldn't have asked for a better, perfect storm situations. The fact that he wasn't on that debate stage last night, and it was a shorter debate stage, it was smaller, so less people, not just him, but other people off of it too, right? The thing that fucking is just amazing is they all looked really bad, and the feeling was, where was Andrew Yang? And I feel like everybody felt that way. Like, where's the discussion about automation? Where's the discussion about UBI? These are all just things that are getting so mainstream and popular so fast that the DNC can't even try to keep him down. I fucking love the surge that's happened from this, right down to the trending on YouTube, like number 2, it's unbelievable. It was, where was Andrew Yang or whatever it was that was trending. I'm gonna have to look it up again because I'm not on Facebook, or Twitter, whatever, all the time. I am absolutely blown away by the impact, the positive impact this has had on the campaign, because him not being there made him stand out more in the media than he would have gotten from just being on the debate stage. So I think it's worked, and I don't say this lightly. I say this really, really worked to his advantage. I think people are saying that initially, Paget was saying, I really agree in the aspect with her that she's saying that it helped reinforce that coming up to the debate. But I think way more than anybody expected. This is a good example and a perfect storm of circumstances for the Yang campaign. They didn't get the debate in time for the Iowa caucus, but I think that's where the strongest ground game is because of the territory needed to cover. Yang Gang is doing an exponentially amazing job compared to other campaigns with groundwork. I mean, sure, Bernie's got some strong ground team, but I think they've taken New Hampshire for granted in a lot of ways too. So I think that what's happening right now is it's phenomenal because you have this attention to the media caused by Donald Trump, caused by the last election, and the scrutiny of the media, whereas before they were kind of pristine in a lot of ways and things got through that, only if they let it get through. They're cock blocking information to the people, right? They're just putting a wall between us and everybody else. The reality of that is that's not happening now because of the internet. The internet's become this unwavering, overwhelming power that they just can't beat. Metrocast, Comcast, Time Warner, all of these cable companies are going down because of the internet. And they're trying to impede it by slowing down data speeds. That's why we have slower internet than the rest of the world. In my theory, could be bullshit. But I think that it's to slow down progress, because the minute we know more, the minute we're going to vote them out, and that's going to happen anyway. I think that the wave is coming down, crashing on everybody's heads right now. It's right there. And Washington isn't going to be ready for this. I think that this revolution has been kind of propped up by Bernie's revolution last last election. But what I think is happening this time is a lot of those people are shifting to new ideas. Everybody's shifting to these new ideas, and this more independent kind of unity form of thought, that it's not left, it's not right, it's forward. I think that is the center point to what's going on right now. Is that people don't want traditional Democrats. They don't want traditional centrist Democrats. They don't want traditional Republican. They don't want traditional politicians, but they don't want to go crazy far to the left either. I think there's a populace that is going that direction, but there's a populace that's going far to the right in response to that. To create that normal balance that happens in nature, I think whenever you swing in one direction, there's going to be a balance, an equal and opposite reaction. And I think that's what's happening right now with the divide between the United States left and right political system, the duopoly, the two-party monster, the bipartisan monster that has taken over our entire electoral system. It's controlling everything. Most importantly, it's controlling our lives and our information that we're getting directly. And my concern is it's just going to get worse and worse. Right now is the time that we're harnessing that media. We're harnessing that power and using it to better ourselves with hashtag poll the people, or hashtag let Yang debate, or hashtag let Yang speak, or any of these trending Twitter hashtags, because this is the new platform for the world. It's not cable television and the newspaper anymore. It's your phone and the internet all the time. And I think that the downside of not having a local paper and all that stuff is the information isn't focused on your local elections as much. But I think the upside to the technology is that that there's this increase to information in instant information that we have access to, right? Now we have all the world's information at our fingertips at all times. And I think the likelihood of us being able to continue with this pattern, no. Just no. I think that everything has become so unsustainable. I think that now is the time that we are going to move through a new form of consciousness. And I think the entire world is going to experience these things. And I think that a lot of it, and not to just put all this on Yang, but a lot of it's going to start with Yang, and these new forms of thought that we can kind of have more collective understanding of what's really going on, that we need to go back more to the facts and away from feelings and more towards the data and what things are telling us, but be real about it and stop trying to harness facts for tax money or use it to their own personal political advantage. We need to really hone in on what matters to this species, because it's the entire species that's being impacted by all of this. But it's also the entire species that's watching this on Twitter, that's watching the rest of the world, that is impacted by all of our decisions as a country. And I think as time goes on, we're going to see that the polls mean nothing. They are outdated, archaic methods of measurement. And now because of that, we are on a fast track to a new way of political thinking, a new way of thought and ideas, a new way of communicating. And the old way is going to be obsolete. But I think that this election actually is really important. I usually am the opposite about this with political leaders. I think it's more important to vote locally than it is for your president or whatever it may be, because they're not impacting you directly. This is a um, what's the word I'm looking for? An exception, um, big time. Exception to the example. I don't remember what the term is, but it really drives me crazy that that we're not on a fast track to doing this sooner. It drives me nuts that we haven't. That's taken us to get to this point for it to really, right down to the needle, right down to the wire, to make these decisions. But we need something like a UBI to change our country and in turn the rest of the world. But also the ability to stabilize our unsustainable political system. Right now, every 4 to 8 years, everything switches depending on what partisan team you vote for. But there's no flexibility there. There's not multiple party systems, gerrymandering on both sides, voter suppression. We need to get away from that. We need to include more voters. And the reason why Andrew Yang is doing so well is because he's bringing people that haven't been voting. Most of the people I know that are voting for him are not previous voters. I am one of those types of people that struggles a lot with trusting the system. But I'm here now, campaigning, putting all my time in and efforts, even though the DNC did their best to quell our voice, we are not going to have it. And ultimately, it's only benefited the Yang Gang. So you guys keep going, keep focusing, keep pushing. Iowa and New Hampshire are doing really well. And if we friggin' knock this out of the park, I think we're going to win both states. If we win both states, we have this thing in the bag. Even if we just win one of them, I think we've got it in the bag. It's the proof that we are the winning campaign. We're going to beat Trump. We're going to beat the primaries. We are the best case the Democrat establishment has against Donald Trump. The DNC has no choice but to run Andrew Yang. They really don't. Everybody else is a bad candidate to beat Trump. I'm not saying that they're bad candidates, but they're a bad candidate to beat Trump. Tulsi had the best chance, but she's not bringing Democrats together. She is dividing some of the Democratic base. No matter how you look at it, I love Tulsi. She's amazing. But this is a little divisive. And she's doing it for good reason. And I think she's making a stand, and that's what's more important. Her integrity is more important, which is good because she's sticking to that. And I think that is what could get her a VP with Yang. I mean, what would be more awesome than a Yang Gabbard ticket, right? Yang Gabbard 2020 sounds fucking amazing to me. But Yang Sanders could be a possibility too. I just think that Yang Gabbard is a better combination. Or, if Sanders is a vice president, Tulsi as Secretary of Defense or Secretary of State, any of that sounds good to me. We really need to change how we're managing things when it comes to measurements, because this is only doing a disservice to the Democratic establishment. I think most people are for Yang. I talked to a lot of my neighbors. I'm going to go knock doors later. Most of my neighbors are like, we love Yang. We don't want to throw our vote away. And the thing that you need to tell people is it is a primary or a caucus. They're not throwing their vote away. That's what this is about. This is what this is for. Voting for the guy you think that can just win the primary is not helping anybody. Go with the guy that you like, because that's what primaries and caucuses are all about. Your personal candidate that you want to get to be the candidate to run against Trump. We need to remember that's what primaries are about, is to voice our opinion, because we don't get to. usually. We get left or right, vanilla and chocolate. And then most of us choose to drink bleach because fuck that noise, right? Well, this is the first time that we can be offered a third flavor of ice cream, right? And it doesn't have to be an independent ticket. He can run on Democrat, but he's running on independent ideals that I think bring all sides together very well. And I think that he will really overwhelmingly beat Trump. And for all the people saying, well, Trump's got these, oceans of people. No, he really doesn't. It's perspective. He's going to areas that are very pro-Trump and very Midwestern, or, New Hampshire, who has, high school, Spalding High School. It's not hard to make it look like a lot of people. It really isn't. It's all about perception. And in reality, whoever the Democratic nominee is going to be is going to have similar crowds. But if it's somebody like Yang that people are excited about, it's going to dwarf all of that. And I think that the energy on the ground being better than Obama's energy way back, and we're taking voters from Trump, man, I just think it is a storm of perfect scenarios for Yang Gang, for the party, for the entire country. So I leave you guys with that. Check out the link below. Van Jones, I think his name is, from CNN, was saying how much he missed Andrew Yang in the last election and how something felt missing. And I think that is the good thing about this, is that it's like, where's the sane voice here? It's gone. And, it's different here. One of these things is not like the other. The last debates have been significantly different because of Andrew Yang. So I think that the really nice thing about all of this is that it's made him stand out more and more. And he is the internet's favorite candidate. He's going to be America's favorite candidate too. He's going to be a lot like Obama in the ways that he's very charismatic, and people like him, and he can play basketball as dance. I mean, there really isn't a better candidate. People could argue Pete, but no, he's not. He's not a better candidate. At the end of the day, Yang's a guy, and everybody knows it. And I think that he's just going to do amazing things. And as long as they don't keep on pushing him out and give him an opportunity, I think that we're going to get to a better place in this primary. I think we're going to start seeing things get wild once he's back on the debate stage and can really kind of let everybody have it. When we see Klobuchar drop off, when we see Steyer drop off, I don't know about Bloomberg. It's anybody's game with the amount of money he's just going to dump into it. But people don't care about money in that regard. People, you can buy all the ads you want, but like Yang says, I'll take people over money any day. The energy of people is what makes or breaks a revolution. And that's what we're doing right now. It's a real revolution, continued from Bernie's, right? But I think one with a more capitalist, humanist approach, because federal guaranteed job sounds a lot like socialism to me, and I think that that's going to be a really hard thing to convince the right on, is these federal guaranteed, means of productions changed to the government. Like, no, that's not a good scenario. $15 an hour, and that's just wealth tax, and you're talking about socialism, and it's just going to be used as a talking point the same way it's always been used as a scary word. And I think that if we have capitalism that starts at zero, we can appease progressives, conservatives, libertarians. We can bring everybody not everybody's going to agree on everything 100% in general in life, but we can rally around something big, a big change to conventional politics. And I think that this change could change the system as a whole. I think Trump started it by breaking the system. In a lot of ways he did. In a lot of bad ways he did. But there could be good that comes from all of this. And that's the thing that I think we need to reanalyze, is that maybe when the Mayans are talking about the end of the world, they're not talking about the end of the world, talking the end of consciousness as we understood it as a collective species. So when we were going through an evolutionary change. I'll leave you with that. Again, if you can, subscribe, like below. Thank you so much for all of the listeners out there. And the people on listening to Abstract Transmissions. Yang Gang, thank you so much. I've seen a spike in our listeners to our podcast, to my Twitter, to YouTube. What you guys are doing is amazing. It's helping me spread the word, but also helps me as a musician and means, and an artist and a creator, and means the world to me and my son, because this is my goal in my future. I don't believe in the jobs of yesterday, but I believe these are the jobs of tomorrow. And if we work together and move in the right direction, it's not left, it's not right, it's forward. Yang Gang, see you out there.